So today, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the Ferrari 488 Pista. A sold out limited edition car, but at Romans International we have two brand new delivery mileage examples for sale. As many of you will know, this is the lightweight track focused variant of the 488 GTB, spiritual successor to the 458 Speciale, 430 Scuderia and the 360 Challenge Stradale. So today's video we're going to focus on specification. We're going to look at the different options you can get on the car, how much they cost and why they're important to have. So without further ado, let's take a look. So first up, I want to talk about the different paint options you can get on this car. So obviously you can get the no-cost solid colours like Rosso Corsa, which is the most famous Ferrari red. You've also got Bianco Avus, Yellow Modena. Then you can get the metallic colours. So this is Grigio Silverstone, which is one of the metallic colours. There's also Nero Daytona, Argento Nürburgring. The next level up from that is historical paints, which I think are about £7,000. You've got the likes of Rosso Dino, Grigio Ferro. But if you want something truly special, you have to go for the extra Campagnaro paint. These are the special paints that cost about £15,000. This is one of them. It's Nuovo Rosso Formula 1 2007. As you could guess, this was the colour that was on the Formula 1 car in 2007 for Ferrari. And Ferrari specially designed this paint so that it would become more vibrant on TV screens. It's definitely one of our favourite colours here at Romans, and one of the most special reds you can get. Obviously not everyone wants a red Ferrari, so the Grigio, we really like it here. It's more understated, a bit more under the radar. But I think any paint is going to work well on the Pista. So the next most important thing you're going to want to decide on is the stripe. The stripe's hugely important on the Pista because it comes right through the car, starting off on the bottom of the front bumper. It comes straight through this S-duct here on the bonnet, then it goes over onto the roof and then ends up on the rear spoiler. So all the stripes cost from basic £8.5 grand, just over, and then I think you have to pay a little bit extra to have them in a certain colour. You can also have a bi-colour stripe and you can have a single colour stripe. Both these cars here have got the bi-colour stripe. So on the red car here you've got Bianco Avus on the outside and you have a blue Electrico stripe through the middle. On our grey car we've got here Argento Nürburgring on the outside with the Nero contrast through the middle. If you do pick the single colour stripe, it basically means the same stripe, you get the body colour through the middle. I have seen some cars which have the whole block in one colour too. But look, whatever stripe you choose, it's a subjective thing. You can of course spec it without a stripe. Personally, I wouldn't recommend it. I think when it comes to resale, those cars will be devalued. Besides, it can look a bit boring, I think, this car without a stripe. You'd probably definitely have to get the two-tone exterior, probably get a black roof or something like that. But yeah, for me, I think the dual colour stripe is the way to go on this car. So next up, I'm going to talk about the wheels. And for the first time ever, you can spec fully carbon fibre wheels on a Ferrari. They do cost £14,000. This car was actually originally ordered with them, but it meant that the car was going to be delayed, so the owner took it with these, the 20-inch forged wheels. What I would say about the carbon fibre wheels is they look amazing, but obviously if you're going to drive the car, you're going to risk curbing one of the alloys or picking up stone chips, and they're pretty much impossible to repair and incredibly expensive to replace. So if you are going to drive the car, I would recommend going with the forged wheels. You can get them painted in the colour you want. These are painted in matte black. Obviously you can get silver or gold, we'll probably see a lot of. Then you've got to choose your brake calipers. You can obviously see a lot of yellow brake calipers to match the Scuderia badges, which by the way, for the first time I've seen on a Ferrari, are now free on the Pista. Thank you Ferrari, very generous. So obviously you've got carbon ceramic brakes too, as standard. The grey car we have here has got aluminium brake calipers, so you can choose whichever brake calipers you want, but what I would say is if you're going to get gold wheels, be especially careful which calipers you get, because it can mean the colours can clash quite a lot. Okay, so once you've chosen your paint, your stripe, your wheels, the next thing you're going to want to choose is your carbon fibre options. Now Ferrari again have been very generous by giving us quite a few carbon fibre features as standard on the 488 Pista. That includes this little part down here, which are the front flaps. They've also given us these side air splitters as standard, which is very nice of Ferrari. What's really remarkable is they've given you the entire carbon fiber engine bay as a standard feature. I remember on the Speciale you used to get the engine cover, but you didn't get the whole surrounding area as standard. You had to pay extra for that. And finally, you get this massive carbon fiber diffuser, which is an amazing part. And Ferrari, I can't believe how generous they're being by giving it all for standard. But don't worry, there are plenty of carbon fiber options you can pay for on top. That includes this, which is the rear molding, which runs across the whole of the rear of the car. Really nice option to have that in carbon fiber. I believe it's about a £3,500 option. What's even more expensive than that is this. It's the underdoor cover, which runs across the whole side of the car. Large carbon fiber part, which I believe is about a £5,500 option. And then onto the front of the car, you do get the flaps for free, but the rest of it you have to pay for, the air vents, the front molding, so you can really spend a whole lot more on carbon fiber. Okay, so other exterior options you can get includes these. These are the adaptive front lighting system. They're £1,400. If you're going to be driving at night, and especially down country roads, I would advise getting them. They illuminate the road better. They move around corners with you synchronously. So a good option to have if you're driving at night. Another option you can get is to change the exhaust pipes. So these are the titanium sports exhaust pipes. They come as standard. If you pay another £960, you can get the black ceramic exhaust pipes. The final option I want to talk about from the exterior of the car is the cameras. So you can get the rear camera, which is just £1,500, which you'll get the rear camera in the rear fog light. But what's £4,500 means you get the front camera as well, which is a slightly controversial option because a lot of people think it ruins the aesthetics of the car because you get the 4 parking sensors in the front and the front camera. Obviously a useful thing to have for parking, but I can see the argument that it slightly just takes away from the aesthetics. Okay, now I want to show you some of the interior features and the different sort of styles you can get inside. I'll start off with the seats. So you can actually order single piece fixed bucket seats, which are basically attached to the chassis. They're non-adjustable. They cost £7,200. I think it's going to take a brave person to spec those. Most Pistas are going to come with these, the carbon fiber racing seats. There's basically 2 different styles you can get. These are the standard style of seats. So you get the sort of Alcantara on the exterior bolsters with this sort of 3D fabric through the middle, and then the leather seat stripe that comes straight through the middle of the seat. Alternatively, you can get Daytona racing seats where you get the central Daytona stripes through the middle. I think both styles work really well. Probably more importantly is choosing the colors, so you can choose the exterior bolster color and the inner color and the central stripe color. I love the Nero and Bordeaux on our grey car, but equally the all black works really well with the red central stripe through the middle. The next thing you're going to have to choose is the color of your stitching. Both our cars have red stitching, which I think works really well. You also got to have to choose the color of the horse, which is stitched on the headrest. So you can, if you really want, spec completely different coloured passenger seat to the driver's seat. It's a bit of a throwback to some of Ferrari's earlier racing days. Again, it's going to take a very brave person to spec that. But one thing you might want is the racing seat lifter. I mean, the driving position is very, very good on this car, and the seats do move forward and back, and you can recline them. But if you feel the driving position is a bit low, spec the racing seat lifter, which means you can just raise the seat up a bit higher. So next up, I want to talk about some of the track-friendly options. Obviously, this is a track-focused supercar, and even if you're not going to take them on track, it's still nice to have a few track-orientated options. So start off with the harnesses. So these are the 4-point harnesses. Obviously, if you are going to take it on track, great to have harnesses. But even if you're not, and you're just going to take it for the odd blast, it's worth having these because they really add to that sense of occasion. They do make you feel like you're in a race car. What I would say is if you're going to use the car regularly, it might be better to go with the normal seat belts because they are a bit more convenient, a bit less hassle. Also, you can get is a fire extinguisher, which this car has. This car also has the legal roll bar. I think that's a £2,200 option. But if you really want to spend some big bucks, you can get telemetry and track cameras, which is what our red car has. Okay, so I want to just talk a little bit more about the telemetry and the track in the camera, because together they're a £9,000 option. So what you'll get is you'll get this little Ferrari USB stick. You can then plug it into the car, and what it does is it can upload and import all the different tracks from around the world and put them straight into the system. You can then record your lap times, you can record your splits, and it also analyzes all the different performance of the car, so you get so much data. So if you're really set on improving yourself as a driver and want to become a racing driver, it is an awesome thing to have. So you get the inner cameras, which you basically get one here in front of the rear view mirror. Then you get one back here, which basically records yourself and driving, so you can really check on your driving techniques and assess how you can improve yourself as a driver. So you're also going to want to choose what materials you want on the interior. So as standard, you get lots of carbon fiber here. So you get the carbon fiber on the door panels, you get carbon fiber on the dashboard, carbon fiber central tunnel, of course the carbon fiber steering wheel with the LEDs. You also get this little carbon fiber sill plate with the Ferrari badge. There are some options you can spec, which you have to pay for. One of them is this inner sill trim here, and a big option to get is the carbon fiber foot plates. They're £4,500 option, and that replaces the aluminium foot plates like you'll see in our grey car. These have also got Alcantara foot mats. You can, for the first time, spec matte carbon fiber instead of the gloss. I mean, personally, I still prefer the gloss. The other thing you're going to want to choose between is the Alcantara or leather. This is a track focused car, and traditionally Alcantara is sort of what it's meant to come with. The leather, it looks nice, but it's just not quite the character of the car, so I would recommend sticking with the Alcantara, which you'll get on the dashboard, on the seats, on the roof lining, even on the little door handles here. And one interesting thing you'll notice that the passenger door has a different handle to the driver's door. The driver's door's got this Alcantara sort of little loop that you can grab onto. So something else I want to show is something called the Personalization pack. Now this costs around £20,000, and it consists of some really special features. One of them is this, which is this tricolore stripe on the steering wheel, on the top and the bottom. That is painted under the lacquer. And the other thing I want to show you is back here in the carbon engine bay. You have all the signatures of the production line back at Maranello. So this is a really nice, unique and personal touch for the car. So just wanted to discuss some of the more convenience options. So you can get navigation and Bluetooth, which comes together. That's £288 only. I think a must-have. It obviously means you can pair up your phone. It gives you the GPS in case you get lost. The other thing I think you should definitely spec is the integrated audio system. That gives you music and radio. That doesn't come for free. So I think you're going to have to be a pretty hardcore track user not to spec those. If you're a real music lover, you can also get the upgraded hi-fi, the JBL sound system. That's about a £5,500 option. The other thing which I think is really important to have is the suspension lifter, which means you can press this button here, which then raises up the suspension, which makes it much easier to go over speed bumps and drive in the city. It's become a real thing to have that. Some people refuse to buy a car without it, so even if you don't need it, I would spec it because it will help the resale value. So there you have it, guys. That's some of the different ways how you can spec a 488 Pista. It's worth mentioning you can go through the Ferrari tailor-made program, which you fly over to Italy and you can make the car completely customized and bespoke. You can get different colored carbon, custom racing stripes, crazy leather combinations. But we'd love to hear from you how you'd spec your 488 Pista. So please do leave your comments below, and we'll just say hasta la pista.